Howdy folks, welcome to the Daily Coin. My name is Rory and today is Wednesday, April the 10th, 2019. And I wanted to do a video on what's happening with Venezuela and Italy and their gold. And there's been a lot of news over the last couple of months, and I've been wanting to get to this for a while and I just haven't had the opportunity. And as some of you know or are aware, I have a second website other than the dailycoin.org, and that is gospelnewsnetwork.org. And it's taking up most of my time. And that's why I haven't been producing videos. That, along with the censorship that is known as YouTube or TheyTube and Google and all the forces of evil against us. But with that said, I just wanted to get into what's happening with Venezuela and what I see happening. I think that it's a tragedy what has happened, and there's a lot of speculation, and we can go that is floating around out there. Not concerned. I know that Maduro is in charge and that Guaido is a puppet that the Western warmongers want to put into place. That I can say with confidence. What how Maduro got there, how Venezuela wound up in the situation that they're in. There's, like I said, there's a lot of speculation, and I'm not going to go into that. What I am going to go into is what's happening with their gold, and this began back in February when Maduro attempted to sell 20 tons to the United Arab Emirates. And as you can see, Zero Hedge reported, and we republished over at the Daily Coin, where's Venezuela's gold? And Maduro at that time was attempting to ship 20 tons of gold to the United Arab Emirates. People were raising the devil about it. I'm not sure why. It's their gold. They should be able to do with it whatever they want to. And if they want to sell it to Dubai or Russia or China or, whoever, it doesn't matter. It's not anybody's business other than theirs. And this created a huge stir. Once again, not sure why, but it did. And as you can see, ever since Venezuela requested the return of their gold back in 2011, I believe, it was 2011, 2012, somewhere around there, their gold reserves shot up because they got their gold back. And now, as you can see from the chart, they have been falling ever since. And now we fast forward to today, or we look forward from February 1st when this article was published to what's transpired. Venezuela, as you all know, has been in an economic death spiral for the past 2 years. We've been chronicling this as an absolute study in preparedness for the past 5 years at least, and we've witnessed the entire system go from thriving to complete and utter chaos. And that happened in almost no time, 5 years, or somewhere right around 5 or 6 years. And now we see that the Western warmongers are attempting to put in their own puppet with this regime change. Maduro's resisting. I don't blame him. Whatever you think of him, I mean, what the West is trying to do is just wrong. Period. End of statement. It's just wrong. And China and Russia have both stepped up and sent in troops. And as you can see right there, China has sent in 120 troops to Venezuela in defiance of U.S. warnings. Why is the U.S. warning Venezuela about anything? Once again, why can't they do in their country what they want to do without and invite whoever in to help them with their situation in whatever way that they want? Why is that anybody's business other than their own? So this obviously creating a lot of problems with the warmongers in Washington, D.C., and in the city of London, and probably the uh, Vatican City as well. The axis of evil, if you will, the real axis of evil. So we've got 120 troops at least of Chinese nationals that are there. We also have Russian troops as well, and this is making them completely out of their mind in Washington D.C. It's driving them crazy. But if you've noticed, there's not been a peep about Maduro, regime change, Guaido. There's been hardly anything said since both China and Russia sent in troops into Venezuela. It's been mums. Mum's the word. They haven't. There's been almost nothing said. Why? Because they cannot say anything. Because now you have both China and Russia in Venezuela, they were invited there by the sitting president of that nation. Once again, think of Maduro what you will. I don't really care. It's not important. What is important is that he's in charge. That's what's important. The people of Venezuela duly elected him, the same as President Trump was duly elected in the United States. So we have this situation going on. But what I find really interesting about all of this is the fact that Venezuela is sitting on the fourth largest gold mine in the world. Hello? I mean, it would make sense that that's why, China and Russia have been doing business with Venezuela and been helping them out. They have the largest proven oil reserves. Venezuela is literally floating on an ocean of oil. And now, come to find out, this article was published back in March, and that's how long I've been wanting to do this video, was since March 20th. And now we learned that not only do they have the world's largest proven oil reserves, they also have the fourth largest gold mine in the world. So these are two extremely important assets to both China and Russia. They want to control both of these. They want them. That's it. That's the bottom line. And now we see what's happening in Italy. Oh, and before we leave Venezuela, back in mid-March also, Luis Cameron was on the SGT report, and one of the things that he brought to the table, which I thought was very interesting and no one has looked at, and that's the fact that Venezuela, Maduro didn't nationalize, but he made Bitcoin an acceptable currency. And when he did that, they started having major electrical problems. I gave up on coincidences decades ago, so I don't believe that there's any such thing as a coincidence. Maduro announces that they're going to begin that the citizens can use Bitcoin and crypto, and I think Litecoin as well, cryptocurrencies, and all of a sudden they start having major, even worse electrical issues than they were having before. It's a good interview that Lewis did with SGT Report, and if you haven't listened to it, I would encourage you to do so. Now, today, we learned that Venezuela, on top of the 20 tons that they were wanting to sell to the UAE, all the issues that we've just outlined, now we learned that they are looking at now we learn that Venezuela has removed 8 tons of gold from their central bank, and they're wanting to sell it on the open market. They're not saying who is to get it, but my guess is that they've got China and Russian troops on the ground in their country. 2 and 2 still equals 4. They've got to make payment. Obviously, the Russia and China aren't accepting the El Petro cryptocurrency because they don't want it. They want gold, or that's my speculation. So I don't have hard proof of that. That's not what this article is saying. But once again, 2 and 2 still equals 4. They've got troops on the ground from China, from Russia. They have military artillery from Russia. They've got to pay for this stuff somehow. So turn 8 tons of gold liquid, move on, life is good. A guy that I picked up, and they're commenting on the 8 tons of gold coming back into the market, and they're saying that they're attempting to raise hard currency to help, their cash situation. They don't have any cash. That's part of the problem, is that all of their cash is now gone, and it has been. So Maduro, once again, just trying to somehow hold on to power. He's still the sitting president. Think of him what you will. Once again, it doesn't matter. And now we look at Italy, and Salvini has been making a lot of noise, and he is making the people in the EU very, very nervous. And they don't like what he's doing, and they are stepping up. And now we're beginning to see who actually owns the gold. Is it the central bank, like the Federal Reserve, or the Central Bank of Italy, or is it the people of the nation? And we are beginning to, the picture is beginning to come clear, and they are attempting, they being the media, the deep state scumbags, the people that believe that they're still in power when in fact they are losing power all over the world. They are attempting to keep this quiet, but Salvini is having none of that. This story started unfolding back at the beginning of February, and when Salvini first approached the central bank and said, "This is our gold. We want to take a look where we are. It's our gold, period." And the Bank of England said, "Well, not so fast. Not so fast." And that's the first sign that we received that these gold, the people that continually tell us that gold has no value, that it is a barbarous relic, that it's a pet rock, that it is not money, all of those things have been said about gold. They are now showing their cards and saying, and we are proving themselves to be the liars that they are. Because if they weren't liars, then the gold wouldn't matter. If it's in the Bank of England, if it's in the Central Bank of Italy, if the Central Bank of Italy says, yes, the gold belongs to the people, and Salvini said, "Thank you very much, we're going to sell some of this so that we can get out of the EU and pay off this odious debt that was foisted upon us by these same people," well, then all of those things would start happening, but they are not allowed to happen. So, and this is where Salvini suggests using the gold reserves to do exactly that, to pay off some of the debt and to pay forward some of their bills just to get themselves out. I mean, right now, and you can see here on this chart that Italy is third in gold holdings. That's going to change fairly soon, and I've got an article that I just published about that over at thedailycoin.org. But what's happening right with Italy, this is huge, because, like I said, he's not letting it go, and he's not going to let it go, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't let it go either. These people they're liars, and now their lies are being exposed, and this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Italy fears for gold reserves as UK seizes Venezuelan gold. Okay? How terrifying would it be to you if you had your gold in a bank and your neighbor had their gold in the same bank, and your neighbor went over to get his gold out of the bank, and the bank told him, no, you can't have it. And that's exactly what's happened here. You would be as terrified as Salvini is regarding his gold. It's the exact same thing. Once again, this is putting everything on display for the whole world to see, period. And there is no escape for these guys. And if Salvini, and I pray to God, I really pray to God that he continues to push this issue, because it will expose everything. And don't be surprised if he doesn't receive the Lincoln or Kennedy treatment. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. So here we are again. Italy's populists covet central bank and its gold. Just more information about what's actually happening and exposing these banks. This is the big one. It belongs to the people, not the bankers. Italy moves to seize gold from the central bank. This is Salvini telling the Central Bank of Italy, that's our gold, not yours. And this has just been published back just on the 7th. It's on April 6th or 7th is when this first came out. This is really putting the central bank in a really tight position, one in which they're going to have to respond. Something is going to have to give, because Salvini has now challenged these central bankers for the gold. Who owns the gold? That's what it comes down to. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens over the course of the next few weeks. I mean, we've got the situation happening in Venezuela that involves gold. It involves Russia and China and war over oil and gold. And now we have Salvini making a big ruckus over the gold there. So on opposite sides of the world, they cannot control this narrative. They cannot control these two stories, period. There's too many of us out here reporting on it and talking about it. So they can't do it. They can't crush us all. So, but I just wanted to bring this to you. I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time now, and I hope that you're keeping up with it, because these are huge, huge situations that are going on. And it has the potential, I'm not saying that it will, but both or either of these stories could blow the whole thing to smithereens, as far as the gold narrative. Who has gold? Who owns the gold? Where's the gold? If the central bank is only, quote, holding, end quote, the gold for the people, we're getting ready to find that out, if that is in fact the case, because Salvini, like I said, he's not letting it go, period. He's not. It's his gold. He knows it. and the bank is supposed to just be holding it. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope to be able to do more videos in the future, and not have so much time in between doing these updates. But I really appreciate you guys sticking around, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Like, share. Really, it really helps a lot, because as you all know, the censorship is out of control. Come see me over at the Coin.org or gospelnewsnetwork.org. Thank you so much, and we will talk with you soon.